is a presentation of TFNN. The Tom O'Brien Show is produced every business day. Tom takes your phone calls toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
This is awesome. Come on, parlez-vous. We're going over to Paris. What's happening?
Hey, Tom, it's Adam from Paris. How you, sir?
I'm doing great, Adam. Yourself?
That's good. Long time no talk. I appreciate everything you've done for me and my family over the years. So,
well, we appreciate you growling a problem with us.
Yeah, sir. I've done gold reports and all the softwares and all your books and read it. Generational thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Now, Tom O'Brien.
Welcome, folks. This is Jacob Shoup, filling in for Tom O'Brien. This is the Tom O'Brien Show. He'll be back with us on Monday. Quite an interesting day. First things first, I was looking forward. We started here. Copper's up at 457. We have crude oil at 83.75. It looks like there might be some production slowdown. And of course, tensions are still high in the Middle East. Larry had his second live trading Fridays today, and these were some of the contracts we looked at. It was actually a pretty good deal today. I just want to say for the rest of this month, if you subscribe to it, you can use code LarryLive at checkout. You save about $50 for as long as you subscribe. In that monthly subscription, you get access to the 2 trading events that go on during the month. Let's take a look at what we have going on right now in the general market. We are up today, which is nice. The E-mini up 1.15%. Russell up about 1.11% currently. NQ's about 1.7. Obviously, some big news with Microsoft that we had, and then especially Google and NVIDIA. We'll crack into that a little bit going forward. The Dow futures up about a 0.5% point there. The gold contract staying kind of solid around that 2,351 level. Okay, it's kind of like we have a little mini consolidation going on right now after this pretty big rip up to the top there. I was reading something really interesting. I had said, a lot of the buying energy coming into gold in particular was actually being driven by China, and it's not, the miners or anything like that, but there's actually a big cultural push for young people in China. There's a lot of weird economic systems going on over there. Some young people are having issues finding work and making enough money. And they buy these things, I don't know the Mandarin word for it, but essentially beans. And they're just very small little pieces of gold, but these are selling like hotcakes there. And that's just at the lowest economic level there. So you can imagine what's going on at the top. Of course, you have central banks buying gold as well. Silver at 27.58 currently. Copper again at 4.57. We've been looking at copper, I think around that 4.10, even like 3.80 level a while ago. And it's nice to see copper getting some love. Crude oil, 83.75. We can talk a bit about that and what it kind of means for the future. Of course, there was some conversation today about stickiness of inflation, and for a while that was sending bonds a little bit lower, and I believe they're probably going to continue to as well. Tesla at 168 right now, down about 1.26%. Steel Dynamics on this crazy move, actually kind of a bullish pattern, trading at 135.64, and then the dollar right below that 106 level. It seems comfortable there. Disney off a little bit. Meta, after a pretty significant drop, they had burned through cash in Reality Labs, and obviously correctly said that it's going to be a while until they're profitable in these big investments. I do think that the future is what Meta is trying to work on. These augmented reality goggles. I think the next generation, things like the metaverse will be pretty important. I'll say this, right? I got convinced last night by a friend. She was playing that game Roblox, right? Let me look this up. And keep in mind, this idea of the metaverse and what this is coming from games like this, right? So you had VR chat and you had Roblox. You go in there, you build whatever. I'm not a big gamer or anything like that, but it's not very taxing on the PC. We're up about 1.65% right now in Roblox. Dude, it was nuts, the kind of things you can do. I mean, it's like a sandbox platform for doing whatever. You have creators on there that can design things in the game. People pay money for it. I get the meme now. Regardless, Meta is trying to kind of apply that same concept that we have seen in a metaverse like Roblox, to kind of the general world. And I think, even that idea is a little weird for me in my generation, but I think these younger kids will get it. When they get a little bit older, probably around the time Meta's tech is really maturing and gets to a point where it, becomes profitable in a consumer market, I think Meta will be set for that. That's obviously a very long play, and they're kind of, they just haven't hit that point in the curve yet to make enough money on the investment. And it is a lot of money, something like 45 billion from 2020 to now, and that's a lot for investors to swallow. Again, I would also say, and this is one of the things I was kind of not making fun of, but just questioning. It definitely wasn't making fun of it. I was just questioning what the point of this ramp up was when all they were doing was just cutting costs, right? They weren't generating anything necessarily new that was profitable at that moment. And of course, SPY, we just looked at the E-mini, but the SPY is up 1.16%. Let's look at Microsoft. I was filling in for Tommy before the earnings. They had a little downdraft, and it didn't make any sense to me. Obviously, you had Meta getting pretty hit earlier that morning, and I think that dragged some of the other techs down, right? But I was talking that Microsoft is going to do fine because of their cloud segment and because of their investment in AI and their forward guidance, which is what a lot of these companies are getting smacked on, obviously, was going to be good. So let's take a look a little bit. We had Microsoft cloud growth accelerates on the back of an AI push. Microsoft shares rose as much as 5% in extended trading. This was yesterday after the software maker issued fiscal third quarter results that outdid Wall Street's expectations. Earning per share of $2.94 versus $2.82, and then revenue of $61.8 billion versus $60.8 billion. So Microsoft's total revenue grew 17% year over year in the first quarter, which ended on March 31st, according to the statement. Net income at $21.94 billion, or $2.94 a share. That was up from $18.3 or $2.45 per share in the year ago quarter. With respect to guidance, Microsoft's financial chief, Amy Hood, called for $64 billion in revenue for the fiscal fourth quarter, below the $64.5 billion LSEG consensus. Hood's forecast implies an operating margin of 42.3%, ahead of consensus of 41.5%. Currently, this is a quote, from Hood. Currently, near-term AI demand is a bit higher than our available capacity. All right, let's pause there for a second, right? They've got to build this out. I was talking about this a few days ago. And one of the I like the mornings because I can just kind of I'm still, waking up. I've been up for a few hours, but my mind still does that, generating weird ideas, things. And I was like, I think this is what's going to introduce nuclear energy into our society, right? They need to keep building these up, but if you keep scaling with the current energy production we have, it's not going to be much more profitable. We'll talk a little bit about that. It's literally just have a footnote, and I won't talk about it anymore. I know some of you are probably tired of that, but we'll be right back. Stay right there.
If you spend any time online researching trading techniques on how to begin your trading journey, you've no doubt come across many folks who push Forex trading as a way to make big money quickly. Unfortunately, there are equally as many stories of these so-called Forex professionals just looking to make a quick buck off aspiring traders without actually teaching the ins and outs of the Forex market. This is what sets Teddy Keckstad's The Tiger Forex Report off the riffraff. Every Monday, former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member and author Teddy Keckstad releases his Tiger Forex Report newsletter, where he dives into the complex world of Forex and takes time to actually teach you his methods that have made him so successful in the fast-paced and rewarding world of Forex trading. Furthermore, all subscribers receive access to archived live streams of Teddy's, where he provides university-level education to help you in Forex trading. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Forex awaits.
The stock market is a delicate interconnecting web of commodities, equities, and trader psychology. When one string of the web is pulled, it has a ripple effect across the broader market. This is where opportunity lies. But how are you to gather all of this information into one cohesive model when you're already spending your energy looking for any possible trade opportunities? Luckily, you don't have to worry about that, as Tom O'Brien has brought all important market news to you in one single newsletter, Market Insights. Market Insights provides a daily overview of what's happening in the indexes, bonds, gold, and more. Follow along with Tom daily as he analyzes the components that affect the overall movement of the stock market, giving insight into how each one plays either a bullish or bearish role. Tom also analyzes specific equities that he believes has the potential to make huge returns, and his track record proves his analysis right. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Don't let the market leave you in the dust.
Are you ready to take charge of your financial future? TFNN is your gateway to the world of trading and investing. Whether you're starting out or scaling up, TFNN empowers traders and investors of all skill levels with top-notch investing systems, strategies, and techniques. It's time to protect and grow your money with insight you can trust. Join us live Monday through Friday during market hours for exclusive content that moves with the markets. At TFNN, we bring the trading floor to you. Our seasoned hosts are here to answer your calls and questions live on the air. Check out the Tiger's Den for just $1 and follow us on YouTube and become part of our vibrant community. And remember, at TFNN, we're so confident in the value we provide that we offer a 30-day money-back guarantee on all new premium newsletter subscriptions and services. You have absolutely nothing to risk, so why wait? Tune in live to Tiger TV and transform your trading journey, because when you know better, you invest better. Join us and experience the difference today. TFNN, educating investors.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
Okay, welcome back, folks. Before we went to the break, we were talking about Microsoft. They had some pretty good earnings and forward guidance as well. I was talking about one of the major issues that the finance chief brought up is that the demand for AI is a bit higher than their available capacity to run this kind of stuff, right? And I was bringing up the issue a few days ago when I was filling in for Tommy's show. It was like, what do you do about the energy, right? The energy to power. It was the same thing in crypto mining, right? The baseline like overhead cost is going to be energy, right? If you keep scaling up and scaling up and scaling up, and we don't switch, if we're going to do these massive AIs, which we're 100% going to, if we don't switch to a different form of energy, it's going to be so unbelievably expensive that it's basically prohibitive, right? And so I was, musing the idea that these companies, especially the big cloud providers and the ones who are building this, are going to probably start investing in nuclear and start doing something like this, right? And this will get society. And I was talking basically about how like one technological advancement can unlock, all these other ones. And so I was doing research because I was talking to Tom about it. And sure enough, a few months ago, Microsoft hired a nuclear chief, and they're trying to invest about $100 billion into this to make their own reactors. I mean, how crazy is this, right? Anyways, very neat. I don't even know, to think about like what the world's going to be like, when I'm 27, when I'm like 50. I mean, it'll just be bizarre. Anyways, so let's talk a little bit more about what Amy Hood was saying, because I think this is super important, and I think Microsoft is poised to be extremely strong, at least for the rest of this year here. With respect to guidance, okay, we went through this. During the fiscal third quarter, Microsoft's Intelligent Cloud segment, including the Azure Public Cloud, Windows Server, Nuance, GitHub, generated $26.7 billion in revenue. That's up about 21% and more than the $26.26 billion consensus. Revenue from Azure and other, this is so nuts. Revenue from Azure and other cloud services grew 31%. Okay, that's from 30% the previous quarter, so that's awesome to see. Analysts polled at CNBC expected 28%. Inside of the Azure growth, 7 percentage points were related to AI, up from 6 points of impact in the previous quarter. Microsoft provides cloud services for ChatGPT. We've spoken about this on the times that I have filled in. Nuts. The Windows licenses popped 11%. I would love to see, I don't think the data's out there, but I would love to see like where that is coming from, right? Because I would reckon it's not so much like your general PC user, but I'm starting to develop this kind of idea, and it's just from talking with people that I know in tech, of really a movement, and don't quote me on this, but a movement, really towards more of the Windows platform for everything, right? So just a single service provider. I think that movement's happening, at least for the people I speak with. And these are guys in like cybersec and general networking and everything. Sales of Windows licensed device makers popped 11%. Technology industry research Gartner estimated the PC shipments increased 0.9%. Yeah. Surface PCs are the key for quickly accessing the Copilot chatbot. Anyways, this is a lot of stuff happening with Microsoft, which I think is pretty neat. We can talk, excuse me, about Rubrik as well. I gotta clear my throat, sorry. Give me a second, this just popped out, so let me just get the ticker for it. They're providing essentially security in some ways for Microsoft. Yeah, RBRK. Not on the trading platform right now, but we can talk a little bit about they're trading at 37.16. Pop, this went IPO just like the past 2 days. And when I heard they were coming out with an IPO, I was like, this is huge because they are cloud and data security, and this is what we're talking about. They're building out in a massive way. So let's talk a little bit about it. Rubrik Incorporated rose 16% in its trading debut after the cloud and data security startup backed by Microsoft topped its fundraising goal with a $752 million IPO, signaling with 2 other listings sustained demand for first-time share sales. Orders of the Rubrik's IPO were more than 20 times the 23.5 million shares on offer, said people familiar with the matter. Half of the shares were allocated to the top 10 long-only institutional investors, with the other 20% of the shares going to 15 others, they said. The demand allowed Rubrik to price the shares at $32 apiece, trading around $37.10 right now, $1 above the marketed range. The shares opened at 38.6 and rose as much as 25%. Aerospace and defense partner maker Lower Holdings fared even better. And then Merrick's Group also had that. Yeah. It's good to see that the IPOs, too, that's an interesting insight into the economy and where money is wanting to go. Rubrik, which secures its corporate customers' data across enterprise, cloud, and software as a service applications, is only the second sizable U.S. IPO by enterprise software startup. Of course, Shopify did it a few years back. Rubrik was founded in 2013. They provide services to Goldman Sachs, Barclays, Citigroup, so on and so forth. And, of course, being backed by Microsoft is pretty heavy. So good for them. I'm curious to see how they fare. I'm still trying to wrap my head around a lot of the security provider companies. I'm not sure the internals of how they make deals and what the path to higher profitability is beyond just an increase in the companies that, and I mean increase in size of the companies that they kind of service, right? I would reckon it's kind of hard every year to keep offering new programs to some of these companies that would boost the earnings for the company that way, right? Again, with Microsoft, Activision boosts Microsoft Q3 gaming business. Sales of Xbox are going down, however. Microsoft reported their results. On one hand, the Microsoft gaming revenue is up significantly overall, and I think this is probably due to Microsoft offering Xbox Game Passes on the computer. And so that's going to kind of explain why that's going up, and the actual Xbox systems are going down a little bit. Overall, the Microsoft gaming revenue increased 51%, but 55% of that game increase was from ActiBliz, okay? So that's like, your Call of Duty, and then also we were speaking about, I don't think it's been realized yet in that quarter, because it's Q3 of 2023, and this is recent news, but they also brought World of Warcraft back into China, massive market. Especially for gaming. Overall, Xbox content and services revenue went up 62%, with 61 of those points coming from Activision. Meanwhile, sales of the Xbox Series XS was down 31% year on year, with Microsoft expecting further declines next quarter. And really, again, all of this is going digital, I mean, it's cool to buy these new things, but I think people got turned off from this kind of concept, especially during COVID, the quarantines. I think the PS5 and whatever the new Xbox Series was then came out, and nobody could get their hands on it, right? And I think this was an interesting shift for Microsoft to put the Game Passes on the computer, right? And it just makes sense. You're just digitalizing everything. They did that first with video games themselves. Like, nobody buys physical copies of these things anymore. So yeah, that's what I'm figuring. And I think with breaking back into China, we're only going to continue to see nice growth going on from there. Now, I'm going to eat my words from the other day when we get back from the break. Stay tuned. Jeez.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening Call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
Tigers, the inaugural session of Live Trading Fridays with Larry Pesavento was a massive success. Trades were communicated, questions were answered, and money was made. Every second and fourth Friday of the month, from 9 a.m. to noon Eastern Time, Larry wants you to join him as he places live trades and takes your questions. That's right, with this monthly subscription, you receive access to 2 live trading events. We are gearing up for the next session Friday, April 26th, so there's still time to sign up. For this month only, use code LarryLive at checkout in order to secure $50 off your monthly subscription price for as long as you subscribe to the service. We'll see you next Friday, April 26th, Tigers. TFNN, educating investors.
This portion of the Tom O'Brien Show is brought to you by Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the direction. Visit Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
All right, welcome back, everyone. I was speaking about Snap. I just brought it up in a random conversation point sometime earlier this week. I don't like the company. Well, it doesn't matter if I don't like it. Up 27.6% right now. They beat on earnings with strong revenue growth, still operating at a loss. So this is what's going on with it. Okay, so earnings per share, 3 cents adjusted versus a loss of 5 cents, which was expected. Revenue of 1.19 versus 1.12 billion. More global active daily users at 422 million versus 420 million. I don't know who's using it. Average revenue per user was $2.83 versus $2.67. So the revenue for Snap's first quarter increased 21% from 989 million in the same period last year. The company is growing at an accelerated clip after it had previously reported 6 straight quarters of single-digit growth or sales declines. Snap has been working to rebuild its advertising business after the digital ad market stumbled in 2022. An investor letter, Snap said revenue growth was primarily driven by improvements in the company's advertising platform as well as demand for its direct response advertising solutions. And a lot of it's just kind of garbage. Like if you go on there, it's like, what do they call those things? Like, you know, I saw Bigfoot in the woods, like when you're in the grocery store, those kind of magazines. That's what Snap advertisements are. And people click those stories and it's brain rot. And maybe it's changed in the past like 2 years or something. But I see memes all the time. It is now like a meme thing, right? Look how crazy these Snap stories are to get you to click them. Anyways, Snap has been working to rebuild its advertising business. During its quarterly call with investors, Snap Finance Chief Derek Anderson said the company also benefited from improvements across the greater operating environment. It's a quote, he says, "I think more broadly we see much more robust brand environment, which played out in all of our regions." Advertising revenue came in at $1.11 billion for the first quarter. Snap's, quote, other revenue category, which is primarily driven by Snapchat Plus subscribers, reached $87 million, which is an increase of 194% year over year. Snap reported more than 9 million Snapchat subscribers for the period. I want to say that's probably due to an AI that they put on there. It's just a chat bot, and you can just mess with it. Adjusted earnings before interest, tax, and all this. For the first quarter was 46 million, far surpassing the 68 million loss expected by analysts. Yeah. Snap, okay, this is what I want to say. Snap's net loss for the quarter narrowed to 305 million or 19-cent loss per share from 328 million or 21 cents a year prior. For its second quarter, Snap expects to report revenue between 1.23 billion and 1.26 billion, up from 1.22. EBITDA will fall between 15 million and 45. Snap reported, of course, 422 million. Anyways, they announced a layoff of 10%. That grew it a little bit. I don't know. Maybe I'll have to go back on there just to see what's going on with it. But regardless, up 27.11% today. So there's that for you, which I really did actually find extremely interesting. All right. Now, we talk about Google. This was some big news. Up 9% right now. Huge cap up on some volume. $2 trillion market cap achieved. Stock rose 9.7% to 171.14. We are at 173.57 currently, resulting in a valuation of $2.14 trillion. The advance added almost 187 billion to the company's market capitalization. The 2 trillion milestone followed by the company's results, which were revenue beat expectations on the strength of its cloud computing unit. Again, that's what we're talking about. This is driving. And I believe their like tech chief or something like that came out and had been echoing, it's like, we're going to get you these AIs right in your pocket. And they want that because it's going to be on their cloud. Let's talk a little more about that. Give me a second. Okay. Yeah, Google has developed much of the underlying technology being used in the AI boom today and has woven into products from web search due to its suite of enterprise software from Gmail to Google Docs. Of course, a lot of you probably knew if you use anything like Gmail that you had this update earlier this, maybe it was last week, I can't remember exactly, but that was integrating AI into some things. Search advertising revenue rose 14% to 46.2 billion as compared with the average estimate of 45 billion. Google has marshaled teams across the country to reassert its lead in AI. Investors have shown they are excited about the prospects of AI, of course. anyways, that's really the big thing. Google Cloud reported sales of $9.6 billion. The unit's profit was $900 million, well ahead of analysts' projections of $672 million. YouTube reported an $8.1 billion in revenue compared with the analysts' estimates of $7.7. This is from Mitchell Wolf. YouTube in particular seems to have benefited from live sports investments. Yeah. Ad blocking crackdowns and improvements in shorts monetization. Alphabet's other bets, an eclectic collection of nascent businesses, including the self-driving car effort Waymo and life sciences firm Verily, reported $495 million in revenue while losing $1 billion. Of course, those are just trying to check things out. And even though a lot of those small businesses or lines lose money, there's always some benefit, right? Because you're just generating data at a certain point, and that can be applied to other things. Research and development is worth it in a lot of ways for that reason. Regardless, I think good for Google, and we are really up quite heavily. Let's talk about Tesla. Down 1.6% today. 2 million car autopilots is in recall right now under federal scrutiny. There was some crash that occurred, and the guy was like, I was autopiloting, and now that is causing a recall. So on Tuesday, electric car maker posted its quarterly results showing precipitous falls in sales and profitability. And then today, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration is concerned that Tesla's massive recall to fix its autopilot driver assist, which was pushed out to more than 2 million cars last December, has not actually made the system much safer. In June 2022, the ODI upgraded that investigation into an engineering analysis. And in December 2023, Tesla was forced to recall more than 2 million cars. Okay, that went out and didn't make them safer. Pretty nuts. I think we also had Kathy Woods has lost a ton of money in this, and she keeps buying on the way down. I'll be interested to see what happens, because I was always of the opinion that Tesla is really driven. Of course, you have, your institutional investors who are just seeing things go up, and people are investing based on how the company is doing. But I think Musk has so many fanboys, essentially, right, who will defend him completely tooth and nail. And they always have that things like, don't ever short Tesla, don't blah 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 blah. We'll see what happens with this. I think we still go down from here until something really stellar comes out. So folks, stay tuned. We'll be right back.
If you're looking for potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them, using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors. For traders who crave risk, Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs provide opportunities to magnify short-term perspectives with up to 3 times a daily leverage, utilize bull and bear funds from both sides of the trade, and trade through rapidly changing markets. These are highly leveraged ETFs with daily resetting designed for short-term trading, not long-term investing. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the Direxion. For up-to-date pricing and performance, go to Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foresight Fund Services, LLC.
The reality is that navigating financial markets can be risky. Markets can be chaotic and difficult to understand. Having the latest market advice can help you turn this chaos into a key for creating winning trades. At TFNN, we understand that it can be hard to find reliable market news. That's why each of our market experts offers their very own market newsletter. A must-have tool for every trader out there striving to find an edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets so you can analyze the market before you trade. Try any of our great newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Just visit the Newsletters tab on the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN has launched the Tiger's Den. Hosted at Discord, TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
Tom O'Brien.
All right, welcome back, folks. Looking a little bit over the break. PCE was up. Let's take a look here. Friday's inflation data show that excluding volatile food and energy costs, core prices rose by an elevated 0.3% from February to March and changed from the previous month. Compare that to a year earlier, core prices rose 2.8%. Fed closely tracks these prices, of course. I do think, too, food is going to go up. Eggs will go up. You have this issue with, like, the avian flu. For some reason, that's traveling around everywhere. So 20% of retail milk samples positive for bird flu. It's crazy. I actually went to Publix yesterday to get some stuff, and I noticed at least some of the hard-boiled eggs were all completely gone, which is weird, and some of the milk as well. The FDA said that initial results from a national commercial milk sampling study show about 1 in 5 of the retail samples tested are quantitative polymerase chain reactions. Okay, that's the test. They're positive for these viral fragments. 33 cattle herds across 8 states, Idaho, Kansas, Michigan, so on and so forth, have tested positive for avian influenza, commonly known as the bird flu. And what's crazy, too, is the birds are catching it from the cows now as well, which is a big issue. And so now there's no trans-state movement of cows whatsoever. They're able to tell that because there's like mammalian characteristics of the avian flu going into it. Testing includes injecting eggs with samples that tested positive, seeing whether the active virus replicates. Pretty crazy. There's no block on drinking the milk because they're just kind of like bits of the virus, but I think we're going to see at least some uptick in some food goods because of it. Let's talk a little bit about crude slowing down a little bit in the U.S. Physical crude oil flows in the pipelines across the U.S. Are flat compared to last year, underscoring estimates that oil production will grow very little in 2024, which we're all kind of hoping for to keep some of these prices down. This is the research firm Wood Mackenzie. Pipeline volumes are relatively flat right now, which reinforces the view that production growth will slow down this year. There's estimates that daily U.S. production in the lower 48 states will expand only by 270,000 and reach 10.9 million barrels. Output is expected to grow slower compared with last year. That was adding 900,000 barrels today. I think you're still having issues as well. I mean, like Red Sea movement is reduced by like 66% because of all the stuff going on. And obviously with other things going on regarding Venezuela being embargoed again, and then Mexico reducing the amount that they're outputting as well. Talk a little bit about Capital One. Their first quarter profit boosted pretty high. The first quarter profit rose 35% as customers paid more on the company's credit card loans amid higher interest rates. Yeah. Net interest income, the difference between what it makes on the loans and pays out on the deposits, rose 4% to $7.49 billion in the first quarter. Credit card businesses make up nearly half of the loan portfolio of Capital One, which is the third largest issuer of Visa and MasterCard. Capital One, which is acquiring Discover Financial for $35.3 billion in an all-stock deal, said provision for the credit losses fell to $2.68 billion from $2.8 billion a year earlier. Net charge-offs or debts that are unlikely to be recovered jumped to 54%. It's interesting to note, to $2.62 billion. Yeah, that's nuts. Capital One's non-interest income, which primarily consists of interchange income, net of reward expenses, services charged, and the customer's-related fees, jumped 11% to $1.91 billion. All weird signs on a macro level. I guess good for Capital One, but that's something to really think about, what's happening on the other end of that, right? Net charge-offs jumping is not super good. Obviously, what I just said as well is not great, but when you're working with these financial institutions who make money off the loans they give, yeah, you're gonna blow up in a low interest rate in a high interest rate environment. But I think more and more people again are kind of depending on credit. You had this weird thing too. Okay, I spoke about Biden saying that interest rates are going to come, which he's not in control of whatsoever, so it was kind of a weird thing. And then it got leaked that the potential Trump administration, if he wins again, is going to work to put the president on essentially the board of the Federal Reserve or have some control on it. So it's really weird that now we're getting to a point where we're having conversations of nationalizing the Federal Reserve and everything like that. But the real answer is that that inflation is still up. They need to see more data to see if we can average out at a 2% GDP growth. And until then, you're going to have these interest rates. And no, I honestly don't think either that when we see inflation come down that you're going to see interest rates go back down to QE levels. Because why would you? I mean, you're going to get yourself into the same position again. I think we're going to learn to tolerate these higher interest rates. Obviously not at the level we're at now. But still, anyways, I'm digressing on this in a major way. I just saw all this stuff and I thought it was really interesting. Talk a little bit about Kava. So Kava Group, this is this new, not new, but it's essentially think of a cool Chipotle. Is planning further expand its footprint in the Chicago area. Give me one moment to get this to load. Having fun. Perfect. All right. So up right now, 10.66%. Very nice for that company. I have not tried this place yet, but people love it and swear by it. And the influencers talk about it a lot, which is really, when you have female influencers talking about a product, you can certainly ensure that it is going to do okay. Kava Group Incorporated is planning to further expand its footprint in the Chicago area and other areas of the Midwest. The Mediterranean chain on Friday opened up its first Chicago location, also its inaugural restaurant in the upper Midwest after eyeing the market for about 9 years. Kava is seeing this, quote, rebirth of the Midwest that's brewing as startups set up in the region and people move back seeking cheaper living costs. This is Schulman. We think we've got a lot of expansion here in Chicago. We haven't announced any other cities, but we're looking across the Midwest. Kava, which has more than 300 locations across the U.S., tries to enter new markets with at least 3 new restaurants. It's first in the Chicago area is in Wicker Park, a residential neighborhood located northwest of the city's Loop District. The second one will be in Verdon Hills. And the company, if you guys are out in Chicago, try it and let me know how it is. I know we have one here, but I just don't know where. Chicago and its suburbs have struggled, of course. But what I'll say to that, they don't develop it in this article, but when you have things like Kava moving in, that the neighborhood is doing better, without a doubt. And you're getting younger people getting in there. They probably earn a little bit higher than the people who've lived there prior, and it can actually be a pretty good, barometer for how the rest of the area is doing. Man, it looks good. Its shares are up 46% this year through Thursday's close, about 10% on Friday. They were just talking about some of the dishes they have. I'll have to check that out at some point. Folks, stay tuned. We'll be right back.
The stock market is a delicate, interconnecting web of commodities, equities, and trader psychology. When one string of the web is pulled, it has a ripple effect across the broader market. This is where opportunity lies. But how are you to gather all of this information into one cohesive model when you're already spending your energy looking for any possible trade opportunities? Luckily, you don't have to worry about that, as Tom O'Brien has brought all important market news to you in one single newsletter, Market Insights. Market Insights provides a daily overview of what's happening in the indexes, bonds, gold, and more. Follow along with Tom daily as he analyzes the components that affect the overall movement of the stock market, giving insight into how each one plays either a bullish or bearish role. Tom also analyzes specific equities that he believes has the potential to make huge returns, and his track record proves his analysis right. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Don't let the market leave you in the dust.
In the world of trading, only a few names stand out like Larry Pesavento, a pro's pro with over 50 years of experience. Larry has seen it all. A former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member, Larry has authored 10 books and trained over 1,000 traders with his unmatched expertise. Introducing Fibonacci 24/7, Larry Pesavento's daily trading service that turns the complexity of markets into opportunities. Published every Sunday, receive a comprehensive report packed with detailed commentary, charts, and videos that illuminate the patterns shaping the markets, with updates throughout the week exclusively for subscribers. Whether through charts or videos, Larry's analysis is your roadmap to navigating the markets. You can sign up now at TFNN.com for just $97. And with all TFNN newsletters backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to risk. For all the details, visit TFNN.com. You'll find Fibonacci 24/7 right under the newsletters tab.
The reality is that navigating financial markets can be risky. Markets can be chaotic and difficult to understand. Having the latest market advice can help you turn this chaos into a key for creating winning trades. At TFNN, we understand that it can be hard to find reliable market news. That's why each of our market experts offers their very own market newsletter. A must-have tool for every trader out there striving to find an edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets so you can analyze the market before you trade. Try any of our great newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Just visit the Newsletters tab on the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN. Educating investors.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Okay, welcome back, folks. We have a short segment. Talk a little bit about Intel right now, abysmal earnings, week forecast. Intel reported first quarter earnings on Thursday. They did beat the expectations, came up light in sales, and the forecast was not great. Stock fell 8% in extended trading. The earnings per share were 18 cents adjusted versus 14, but the revenue was $12.72 billion versus the $12.78 expected. For the second quarter, Intel expects earnings of 10 cents per share on the revenue of $13 billion at midpoint. The forecast compares to analysts' expected earnings of 25 cents. In the first quarter, Intel reported a net loss of $400 million, or 9 cents per share, versus a net loss of $2.8 billion, or 66 cents per share. Revenue was $12.7 billion versus $11.7 billion a year ago. Intel CEO Pat Gelsinger told investors on earnings calls to focus on the company's long-term potential. He said, "We are one of two, maybe three companies in the world that can continue to enable next-generation chip technologies." I think this is where their power lies, especially being I can't even think of the word right now. But there's just legacy, right? The quarterly earnings report was the first since the company revealed that it has made its chip manufacturing business, called Intel Foundry, a separate line. Intel Foundry reported $4.4 billion in revenue during the quarter, which was down 10% year over year. The unit reported a $2.5 billion operating loss during the March quarter. Intel said last month that it reported a $7 billion operating loss in its foundry in 2023. Intel's biggest business remains the chip it makes for PCs and laptops, which is reported as client computing sales in their financials. The chip sales totaled $7.5 billion, up 31%, which is nice. Intel also makes central processors for servers. We all know this. That line saw a rise of 3% to $3 billion. Earlier this month, Intel said that it would release a new AI processor. We spoke about that, Gaudi 3. We still haven't seen it yet. But if true and does the thing it says, will be nuts. Intended to compete against NVIDIA's H series, which is what's used to train AI. So, folks, thank you so much for joining me. Good Friday. Finished in the green today. I like it. We'll see you all Monday.